Welcome to Beyond the Shelf. I'm Dawn.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are, as always, very excited. But this year we're excited because it is the library's 100th anniversary.
Yay!
Yay!
Happy birthday to the library.
And we have with us our very own library director, Daphne.
Hello.
Daphne, have you been here the 100 years that the library's been around?
Some days it feels like it. No.
Just since Tuesday. That was 100 years long.
I was here through the 90th, which I was very new when that happened. So that's what's funny is that we're coming upon the 100th. That 10 years have gone by like a blink.
Yeah.
Did you just like wake up and suddenly
Ta-da, it's the 100th Centennial. Woohoo!
Is there a lot of people working with you for this celebration, or is this all resting on your shoulders for next year or this year?
We have a committee, so that's been great. And we have a community member that's on the committee, and we have been asking staff for input on lots of things. So no, I'm very fortunate. There's lots of people helping me with it.
Good.
100 people.
100. Maybe not quite 100.
Maybe by the end of the year with all of the like volunteers and different people that we come in, it'll be 100 people who've helped.
It could be.
Something like
Well,
that.
if you include the staff.
There's like 35 already, right?
I think we're up to 41.
Are we?
I think
Wow.
so.
Okay. That's exciting, though.
It is.
Yeah. So, jokingly, planning with this, Daphne's been like, can we do 100 of that? And so, there's going to be a few jokes, maybe.
100 of everything.
So, I have a little bit of some history, at least of, like, the library building. And I know that Marcia is kind of our, like, staff library historian, and she's done a lot of research, which is where I got this information from, actually.
Thank you, Marcia.
So thank you to Marcia.
Yes.
So the library itself was like made into a thing, but originally was a room at the high school. Was it 1925 or 26 officially?
That's a good question. There's some conflicting numbers. That's what we came up with. We're trying to figure out. So is it? We're going to go with 25.
Okay.
Because if we don't, then we'd be celebrating 99.
Yes,
Exactly.
we would. Yes, we would.
I think I read something that like it didn't officially get credited as a library until
26.
26, but the library started in 25. So it was in that room at the high school. And then around 1940-41, they were able to build the library building.
Yes.
And that is where our children's department currently is.
Yes.
And then from what I read, it was about every 30 years they expanded the building a little bit more. So it was 1976, I think it was, the first expansion occurred. And that went to like where the stairs are now.
It would be. I can tell when I'm standing in the middle exactly where the lines are. So that would have been about it.
Right.
And
then
the entrance was changed. So the entrance
Okay.
went from the front facing Main Street to where it faces now.
which is Church Street.
Church Street.
Yeah. I always get confused about which street our doors are on. And then around 2000 is when we expanded to the current building that we have.
Yes.
Okay.
And when they started in the room, they had about 600 items.
Right.
And that was just not enough.
Right.
And that's how this whole group of people decided that we have to have more. And then even when they built in 1925, by 41, there's pictures of stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they had boxes and piles of stuff. They just were outgrowing their space that quickly.
Well,
and same thing from 41 to 46 to 70.
Mm-hmm. I think it was the 1975 when they started working towards expanding that time. I read that the building was made to hold like 12,000 items, and they had like 30,000. Mm-hmm. So there was just like stuff everywhere because they just did not have enough room. And now we have like 80,000 items.
We're about at 80,000.
Yeah.
We've kept that probably for the last 10 years. It was a little bit higher when I first got here, but we were having every 3 copies of every magazine, so the last 2 years. So that was part of our collection. And so we've kind of gotten rid of that.
Okay.
So we still have about the same number of items, books and movies and those sorts of things that we do. Just not as many magazines.
So if I can do math, which we know I'm not great at, it seems like the next expansion, if there was one in about 2000, would be in like 5 years from now, right? Daphne's face says no.
I would say that when they did the expansion in 2000, they were very forward-thinking then. I mean, we have a huge building. We're 25,000 square feet, which is pretty darn big for a library in this community this size. I mean, when I have other people from other libraries come, they're always like, this is really big. So we have the space to, I believe, in 5 years, not build more, but I'm sure we're going to continue to be changing. Even from when I started 11 years ago, where the collection was and how we have changed. We're constantly changing, making extra study rooms, making more floor space. There's just things that'll, so in 5 years, there'll be something, but grand opening, I don't know about that.
Doing another big...
Well, the only expansion we could do would be to build up.
Right, we're kind of landlocked at this point. Yeah.
Right.
Although I did go to the Hudson Library, and have you been to that one? And that's like, what, 4 floors? I mean, it's like...
I think I've only been in 3, but there may be 4.
Well, and their basement is full of stuff too, I think. So, yeah, it's huge. Up.
Sure,
Technically, we're 3 floors then, right? 1, 2, 3.
The elevator definitely has 3 buttons for 3 floors, so I think that counts. So over the years, the library has had all kinds of different events. There's been different reading challenges and school visits and open houses and jazz performances and all kinds of different stuff. We have lots of things planned for this year for our 100th. Are there any big ones that you want to tell us about?
Well, I would like to tell everybody that on Monday, April 7th, that's going to be kind of our kickoff to our Centennial Celebration. But we will start off the year in January doing 100 challenge is what we're going to call it. It's going to be either 100 books to read, 100 hours, or 100 visits to the library. So that's just one thing we thought we would, to tie in that 100 that I like to put out there so much. But there's something pretty much every month planned. But as I said, we leave here with a date. It's April 7th, Monday, April 7th. We're going to do some fun things to kick it off.
That's a kickoff day. All right.
So the hundreds, you said 100 books or 100 hours or 100 visits. So it's not going to be, you can do all 300 of those. It's just you're narrowing it down to one thing.
That is a great question. And I think our answer as of the last meeting was you could do all 3 of them if you wanted to.
Okay.
There'll be different prizes for if you read 100 books, you deserve a prize because that's a lot.
And we do have some readers
we do
who reach that for sure.
And there'll be some goals in there. So when you get to 10, there'll be a goal. When you get to 25 books, 25 hours, 25 visits, there's going to be little prizes just to give people incentives along the way. Plus, we don't want someone to start off going, well, I'm never going to read 100 books. Right. I don't want to do this. But we want them to participate and have some fun. So there'll be like mini challenges or, goals that they can get to.
And how are we tracking? Is it going to be like where they write it down like we did for the summer? Is Dawn in charge of it?
Totally no. The last discussion that we had was having a little booklet that they can keep track of things, and then when they reach one of those milestones of 10 or 25, then a staff would be able to mark it and say,
"Oh, we need little stamps."
Yeah, that's exactly what we were thinking.
And that's probably what it'll be.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Like a little passport.
Exactly.
And hopefully I'll share this with staff before they listen to this podcast and go, "What?
What are we doing now?" Yeah. So,
all right, that
some
sounds cool.
Fun ways to incorporate in that. And another challenge that actually I'm launching this year to go along with the 100th, but that will continue past this year, is 100 books before graduation. This is a challenge that a lot of libraries do, but it's for middle and high schoolers, and the goal is for them to read 100 books over that like 6-year time span, and they also will get prizes along the way too.
I love that because don't we do? Is it 100 or 1,000 before kindergarten?
It's 1,000.
That's what I thought. Oh,
so
that's
it's
a great idea.
another specific challenge for middle and high schoolers to encourage them to keep reading, especially reading for fun, because that's what we love.
So since we're having this big brouhaha next year, do we have like community sponsors that are going to be helping out with the prizes and the different things like that? Is that how that's working?
That is the hope, and actually those letters should be going out here pretty soon.
Okay.
Because I think we want the community to support this, and the community does. That's how we have this great library, is because we already have so much community support. So that's the hope. We'll not only have that April event, but we're also going to do something in the fall. The April one is during the day, so there will be some people that won't be able to attend that. So we're hoping the fall one will be on a Saturday or in an evening so that a different group of people can attend it. So there'll be lots of fun things, and the parade in between. I must mention the parade in case I forget.
The 4th of July parade?
The 4th of July parade. We are going to have a float that It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be awesome.
Is it going to have 100 things on it?
We're going to have 100 people. And no,
Oh, that would be exciting. No, but it's you're going to have to come and see.
Okay.
it's going to be great.
Are we going to be passing out things too?
We are. We will certainly pass out our bubble gum because that's the tradition of what we pass out. But we're going to be. So the theme next year for summer reading is color my world, color your world. So we're going to kind of go on that, and so there might be a globe of some sort.
Oh, I was thinking like we could have those paint-filled balloons and throw them at the spectators.
Oh, yeah.
We would be coloring their world on July 4th.
Let's paintball.
Yes.
Everybody.
I am right now nixing that idea.
Is that why I'm not on
podcast.
the committee? I don't know. Just throwing out ideas.
I don't even want us to throw the candy, let alone throwing balloon-filled paint. Yeah, no.
Okay.
But we will have something else too. And we're still working on it. I mean, one of the fun things is we're trying to do some sort of a T-shirt project where lots of people could have our 100th logo on it and wear those T-shirts and promote the library, because that's really what this is all about, is celebrating what we've done and promoting what we're doing now and looking forward to what we're going to do in the future. So.
Right.
So will the T-shirt kind of be like one of the prizes maybe? Once they've completed like 10 things, they get the T-shirt, or is the T-shirt prior to that?
I think the T-shirt's going to be prior. I think
Okay.
anyone that's interested in having a tie-dye T-shirt that someone who may not be named yet in this room across from me might be helping with.
Oh, you mean Dawn might do a giant tie-dye program?
I think so.
Yeah. They won't let Jenny do anything.
Well, I do
That-
tie-dye every summer
I
with the
know.
teens, so it was the logical choice.
It
You
is
can
logical.
totally help, Jenny.
I figured you wouldn't trust me. That's what I meant.
And it will be T-shirts for kids and teens and adults, and anyone that wants to wear one, come and make one, or we might make up a few ourselves, maybe. I don't know what the process of that is, but Dawn has it all under control. I'm confident.
Yes.
Dawn's name is on all of these things. And she's like, I just wanted to do an interview.
Now it's on the podcast, so you have to.
So, how many directors has the library had? Do you know?
I
Off
do
the
know
top?
that.
Okay.
So I am the 9th director.
Wow, in 100 years. Only, wow.
So that's like an average of 10, almost
Okay.
10 years per director.
Well, and think of this, the first director started in 1925, and she was here probably less than 10 years, but we had one director that was here. Mary Terry Douglas was here 23 years.
Wow.
So I have some years to beat that, so we'll see how that goes. But then some of them have been there as short as just like a year and a half or 2 years, or, but yeah, just 9. We had 2 interim directors in between there who helped out, so.
Now, was one of those Eleanor Wilson? Was she one of the interim people?
Eleanor Wilson, we called her Kit Wilson.
Right,
She was
okay.
the director. She actually, when I worked here the first time, was one of the people that hired me when I had my part-time job here. She was
Okay.
a great lady. A lot of fun.
I read this really great quote from her from the Courier Crescent when they were fundraising for the expansion in the 70s. She said, I visualize the library hosting book clubs, book talks, films, hobby shows, dramatics, study groups, any kind of nonprofit educational endeavor. I thought it was so great because I feel like that's still what we do, and that was something she said in 1975, and we're
Still doing
40
it.
years off of that, and I just thought that was so cool.
I think we've been fortunate to have lots of forward-thinking directors over our time, which has helped us to, stay in the game and pivot and do what we need to do
Yeah.
to stay
So
relevant.
how many years in total, including when you were here prior, have you been a part of the Orrville Public Library?
I was probably only here about a year, maybe a year and a half the first time I was here. It was just kind of a
Okay.
part-time gig, and it was fun. I was down in the children's area.
Which was where we are
in the
recording
basement,
right now,
right?
which is our
Yes.
staff lounge, right?
Yes, and it was it was a nice room, and it was fun, but it wasn't what we have now. We have so much more light and so much more space, and and back then my job really was. I told someone today I was a seat filler. I was there to cover the desk. It was just when they were first starting to get library cards that had to be on a computer, so I would come in this pile and I would input everybody's information for their library cards. So it was very different back then, but still they did a lot of fun stuff even back then. I mean, kids programming has always had a special place here at Orrville Public Library.
Yeah.
So how many years, including that, have you been at the library?
So if my math is correct, no, About 13 years here
Okay.
at Orrville,
With a gap in there.
with a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a tenth. Huh. Give me do math.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said that we've had a lot of directors who've been very forward thinking. Do you have any visions of what Orrville Library will be in the future, or are you just trying to day by day? I know every day you are rushing around everywhere, going to meetings and planning stuff and working on the library of things. That's been your project
Right.
for a couple of years, I guess now, or is
I think
it?
we're going our second year of library things.
So do you have any big dreams of where you could see the library in the future?
I think we always need to be looking at what the community needs. And I think we need spaces for people. It's kind of like adding more study rooms because people wanted to come and meet, or adding hotspots because we thought the kids needed them, and it turned out to be for lots of people needed that mobile data. I think we're just going to have to be looking. I do think we need to freshen up a few things, like the teen area.
Yes.
And this is another thing which I'm just kind of working on. I think that our children's department needs a freshening and maybe some different activities, maybe some more sensory activities, maybe find a way to get better shelving or get some more floor space so that people can come and hang out, because that is one of the things that still seems to grow, is that parents like to come here and spend some time here. And so I think we need spaces that are maybe more flexible, or that we can adapt when we have special programs we want to do. So,
Sure.
And outreach. I think outreach is, I'm so excited that our van is doing what it's doing, and that we're going to the schools, and Beth has more visits and Terry has more visits than I think they know what to do with sometimes. And that's just one thing. That's not the nursing homes. And there's a lot of other outreach we could be doing. I want people in here, but I also want to be out for those that can't get in here, because not everybody can.
Yeah.
And that still makes us a valuable resource to the community, whether it's them coming in here or us going out to them, to the parks. Or
I've seen several. There's usually bigger libraries that have little cafes, or I think there's one in Boston that actually has a bar. So I'm not saying that we should have a bar, but have we ever thought about doing a cafe type of thing in here, or is that? Seems to me that that's kind of dangerous. Cafe and books.
I feel like we're just asking for people to spill coffee on their books.
That's what I think too. But I've seen a lot of libraries do it, so I just wondered.
We've talked about that several times since I've been here, and there have been some areas we've looked at in the library if we could turn that into it. Some of the problem is we'd have to staff it, or find an organization that would staff it, and so that's kind of part of the issue. I mean, I think we are definitely more lenient with people bringing in drinks now, and even some food into the library, because people walk around with their coffee and their waters all the time anyhow. But I mean, it could be something if we could find the right partnership. We don't want to also do something that we have a lot of places in town that already do that and do a good job of it, even right next door now.
Right.
So I'm not completely opposed to it, but I have to see if there's value in it. And if it's going to make more work for you all as my staff, and we don't get a big enough benefit out of it, I don't know, but we could look into it. I'm sure it's going to be something way different than we could even think about right now in the next 5 to 10 years that we're going to be doing in libraries. So, I mean, no one would have thought we were loaning out tools and ice cream makers and games and puzzles, and and that's kind of a big thing, and people really like that. They really appreciate that, and it's different. What do you girls? What would you like to see in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, Dawn and I want the bar, for sure. Just kidding.
I was going to say, I am excited for some of the upgrades that we're looking into for the teen area.
So when you say upgrades, I mean,
Can you talk about any upgrades to the teen area?
do you have a plan, or you just have some vague thoughts in your?
I'm thinking wrecking balls and giant sledgehammers and paintballs. No.
So I think the shelving we have does not fit the space anymore. That's one thing, because we have that shelving in the middle that was for magazines and bigger, and we don't use it the same way. So getting newer shelving to take up less floor space, but to have more space for collection, because we still do want to do that. The area that's raised needs to go away. So that's coming out because it's not accessible for anyone that has any mobility issues. So that will come out. The Saved by the Bell sign is going to go away.
That's what I call the sign on the wall that says young adult. It looks like it's from Saved by the Bell.
From 1999.
Literally, I made a reference to Saved by the Bell to one middle school group, and I just got dead stares.
Ha! You're getting old.
That was great. And the other thing that we've talked about is adding some electricity, some plugs, outlets in places. Because, I mean, students do everything on computers, on their Chromebooks nowadays. And so having places where they can plug their computer in and be able to do their homework there.
Would we have like more comfortable seating type of
I think
things
so.
too?
I think that's the plan. We've gotten some samples, but I think now that we know for sure we're going to take out that ledge, I think they're going to give us some other things to look at. So, and I'd like it to be movable. So if we want to move the tables out and do some activity there, so that there's a little more flexibility in the space. I mean, the tables there are great, and they've been here for a while, but I just don't think you can't do anything else with them. And they're not accessible to everybody. So, and some new colors, make it look fresh.
Yeah.
So it's not a very big space, but I think what we do can make an impact and it'll still look nice.
I think once upon a time you told me that sign will come back in style eventually, right? And
I
then we
did.
could just leave it.
I tried.
Because like 90s are in now, right? Maybe
So we're talking about the young adult teen area staying in the same
place.
place,
Yes.
just
Yes.
updating the
Sure.
space. Okay.
Yes.
I think that's something because we can't expand anywhere else that we have to take the space that we have and make it work for our needs or for our community's needs.
Do we have a panel of teens that were asked that we have asked what they would like to see in that area?
We
or
have
what would be
not,
good?
but that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not a done deal. I mean, the riser or the platform is coming out, that's for sure.
For sure, yeah.
But, maybe some kids to look at the seating or some of
I
the
have
other
found
stuff.
that teens really like to vote on things, so I think if we give them some options of like these are possible seating that we could have, they would be more than willing to tell us what chair they want to sit in.
I'm up for that.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if we could have a panel of like homeschool kids and public school kids and private school kids too, so that it's so that it would be reaching out to a variety, not just one little set of kids.
Sure.
And if any of them are listening to this podcast, stop by and talk to us. And
I'm sure they
give us your
all
thoughts.
are.
Well, and even that wall, I love those Red Ryder Reads posters. We have them all over the library. They have a lot of meaning there, but they're very old and dated because the one is my son who was in middle school. He happened to be on the Orrville wrestling team when that was the year we chose to do them. And, he's much older now. And so we need to figure out something to do with that wall, but the space it's unique. So I think it's going to be nice. And so next year, you all need to come and see what we've done.
Yeah.
I think it will at least be started by next year. And if we can get it completed by the fall event, that would be nice.
Great.
So other than the young adult YA teen area, is there other improvements that you're hoping to accomplish this year, 2025?
I was almost afraid you were saying 2024 because we're done with 2024. I can't do any more of that. There's been some talk about having a reading garden. That's one of the things I really wanted to do, an outside space, but we're kind of landlocked. But I think that we may have come up with an idea to make a small space outside to maybe put some seating. There's actually a Girl Scout troop that has been collecting caps, and so they're making us 2 benches that are going to go somewhere outside. So there'll be a little bit of that outside, and maybe, it's been 25 years, so the landscaping since I've been here, we've slowly been, updating it and pulling out things that have gotten way overgrown. So hopefully that'll have a fresh look next year. I have a couple more ideas on that. Inside, the children's area is another area I really think needs some freshening up and some new things. And as I said, maybe some sensory spaces or something, but more floor space so that we can get more people in, they can move around, they can be comfortable hanging out. And
Do we have a place, or have we talked about having a place that is good for like nursing mothers?
no, but I would be up for that too.
Because I know that there's been some times when we've been able to send them up to the children's department. They have like a room, but nobody wants to nurse their baby in the bathroom. So I think that if we could have a place.
Because we do have a chair in there, and I always think, who
Right.
wants to do this? But
Yeah.
and I don't know if people do that. I mean, I think we could figure out something.
Yeah.
I mean,
The story times are getting really popular, and there's a lot of young ones coming in, and the moms are still nursing. So I just wondered if that was something.
we could. They can always go to my office. I would give them the space if they need to.
Right.
Hopefully, if they feel comfortable, they nurse wherever
Yeah.
they feel comfortable. So
Right. But in a public setting,
But yeah, having an option for sure.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
It is something to look at. There's all kinds of things. There are in computer labs. There are these little areas where you can put your baby. But the problem with some of those is they take up a lot of space. And I want to do whatever the need is, but I also don't want to take up space if someone's only going to use it once every.
Quarter.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But of course, then you also don't know who's going to use it until you provide it. So
Right.
at least for the nursing moms, I bet we could come up with something.
I think you can add yourself to the list of forward-thinking directors. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you've had some really big projects in the last 2 years. The van was huge, being able to get that in, and the Library of Things, being open to that, because I know a lot of other libraries have done it for a while, but then you were open to the suggestions and pursuing that, and you keep updating that as well and keep adding to it. I think that's really
Had
cool.
plenty of-
we have the zoo passes. Are we funded or able to add anything else, like maybe museum passes or things like that in the future?
Several people asked for on the wish list for the Friends was, could we get some money for that? And the Friends is up for helping us to fund that. And that's where we've been finding the money from, that is donated money. Just trying to find the right one. Some of them are very costly, and if only, a handful. The Akron Zoo is fabulous. I mean, we get a lot out of that membership, but some of them you get a limited number, and I don't know that.
Okay.
So I'm up for looking into it. Either of you are welcome to do that and get back to me, because if we can find that works,
put Dawn's name down.
we
on
can
that
say
again.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. Check. I'll just add that.
So, so yeah, I'm up for it.
Great. Anything else that you want people to be on the lookout for 2025 for the library this year?
Well, we really would be interested in stories. So if you are listening to this, or you know someone that has a library story, a memory, we would really like to get those and share those. And because I think it's going to be a year of, our theme is celebrate the past, imagine the future. So we really want to celebrate what we have. We want to promote what we already do, but we want to plan for the future. And we need to get input from the community and to hear, what you miss. What is there something we used to do that now you wish we'd bring back, or something you've been somewhere else to another library and you think, oh, that would be great for our community. So we need to hear stories and ideas and input from our community. So hopefully that's something that we're going to be able to reach out, and we're going to really be pushing this year to promote all the things we do, because it's very surprising to me when I go somewhere and someone's like, you do what?
Yeah.
And I think, oh gosh, we promote that. We put it on the website. We have a newsletter. We put it in reviews. We talk about it all the time, but it's not enough. We have to keep talking about what we do and why we're here and why we're important to the community.
Right. There's a lot of things that people just don't know that we offer.
Well,
but they don't.
Yeah. We have a lot of support from our community, but
do.
I also think there are a lot of people in Orrville that don't come to the library, or they just think that we just have books.
Right.
And that's part of why we're here, and part of doing all of these activities that we're planning for 2025 is we're constantly promoting ourselves or putting out there the things that we do. And that's the reason that we go and we do outreach to schools and to other community organizations, to remind people that we are here and we're here to serve them and help them.
Well, thank you, Daphne. We appreciate you coming and talking with us, getting 2025 kick-started for our big 100th anniversary. And again, that was April 7th, and that's a Monday.
Yes.
And is it going to be like an all-day thing, or is it going to be like noon to 2, or we probably don't have that quite?
I believe it's going to be 11 to 1 or 2. So it'll be kind of over the lunch hour. We're going to have some food, have some proclamations, some fun stuff going on. And hopefully at that point, we're going to do some tours of our building, because I think there's some people that haven't been in this building for a long time or ever. So we would like them to come through. So I think that's going to be good. And I need to say thank you, because this is going to be a lot on the staff too. So I can talk about all this stuff that's going on, but it's not going to go on. I'm not doing it. There's so many people that are going to have to help out to make this happen and make it, run smooth and be fun, which is what we all like to do. But, I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dawn, do we have anything special coming up in the month of January 2025?
We have the winter reading program.
Is that the end? The end. Come read.
We have the winter reading program that runs the whole month of January. That's for all ages, and there are prizes for everybody. We'll have the 100 challenges going on.
And people can double dip.
You absolutely can double dip.
Yes.
So, of course, Cookbook Club will be meeting on the first Monday, and Book Club is starting back up. They took December off, so Book Club will be back on January 9th, and they are reading...
The Maid.
No, not The Maid. It's just called
Just
Maid.
Okay.
And that is by Stephanie Land. So that will be another activity. There's teen book boxes to sign up for. Story times will be starting again. I would just highly suggest checking out the library calendar on our website, or giving us a call, or visit us one of those 100 times, and we'll tell you about all of the great things.
If you call, ask for Dawn. We'll send you to her. She knows it all.
Thank you.
There also might be a little bit of an adjustment to our website coming in
That's
January.
true.
Oh, we're updating
We
the
not
website
only
also.
update our building and our programming, we also update our website.
Well, good for us. All right.
If you need help navigating the new website, ask for Jenny.
Yep. Well, that'll be fun. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope that we see you a lot in 2025.